Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Soul Talk. Hi Tracy, how are you this morning?
I'm really well, you?
I'm very, very good, thank you. I'm excited for today's topic.
Yeah, I'm just so obsessed with this, and I have been since a child. I shouldn't say obsessed because I don't like that word actually, but I'm so fascinated
Yeah,
by everything. And I've had some great conversations with loads of people, whether they're believers or not, about what we're going to talk about. So I think people are going to get a lot from this.
absolutely. So today we're going to talk a little bit about karma and how it affects us. So if you've noticed that you're going through the same patterns, I think a lot of people perhaps think that they're a bad person, right, Tracy?
Oh God, yeah, I get told all the time by people coming for a reading, oh God, it must have been a terrible person in a previous life because of what I've got in this life. And it's like, no, it doesn't quite work like that. But people do get into that belief that this must be, something from a past life, paying them back.
Yeah, definitely. I think, the way the human mind works, we do think about payback. We do think about maybe even revenge and things like that because that's part of the human experience, right? So thinking, oh, I must have been really bad in a past life. I must have done something horrific. I must have done something to hurt someone because I'm getting all this payback in this lifetime, and this life is really, really difficult.
Yeah, yeah. And I would say that there's an element of truth in that. So the first thing that I believe, and I don't know if you believe this, karma is not about punishment. Karma is about balance. We
Mm.
live in a dualistic world, male, female, good, bad, up, down, dark, day. So if we've been rich in a previous life, we'll have to be poor. If we've been the murderer, we will need to be the person getting murdered. We will need to be male and female, adult and child, and we will have to play all the different roles.
Mm.
Um, so I don't believe, and lots of other people don't believe, that karma is a punishment thing. It's about a rebalancing. It's about showing you all the different sides of the situation, the coin.
For sure. For me, karma is neutral. It's
Mm.
not good, it's not bad, it just is,
Yeah, yeah,
right? And we all have to experience different things, and we have to experience all of those polarities across everything so that we have, or our soul has, a full picture of how
mm.
things are. It's not enough to just have a rich life and a poor life. We need to have all the lives in between so that
Yeah.
we have, or our soul has, a complete understanding.
Yeah, I mean, we've said this before on the show. I very much agree with Shakespeare. You're like a one man show, and you've got to play all the roles. So the king and the pauper, the rich and the poor, the male and the female, the murderer, the victim, the wronged and the person doing the wrong. And let's say you were the murderer. Another time, you're going to have a life as the family of someone who's been murdered, so you can see the impact
Yeah.
that comes from the actions that you do. So it is very multifaceted.
It is very much so. So let's go perhaps back a little bit because there are things that our soul agrees to experience in
Yes.
this lifetime. And some of those are going to be related to the karma that we need to understand, we need to clear in each lifetime.
Yeah. I think if you think about this as a food prep station, and you've got your herbs and your spices and your meat and your fish and your veg, and you do your soul plan meeting, which is where you plan what you're going to do and how you're going to do it and who's going to be part of that. And it's like, well, I'll have a little bit of this, that's a soul contract, a little bit of that karma, a little bit of this growth, a little bit of this. And then you mix it all together and sort of plan the right opportunities for you to be able to get those things ticked off your list.
Mm,
So it's almost like you choose the environment that's going to help you be confident or to break you if that's what you need to do to get that confidence. So it's
mm,
very multifaceted.
definitely. So going into karma, what we experience as how we perceive that we experience is problem after problem, right?
Yeah.
and thinking that, we're bad, or we must have had, this horrible experience in a past life. And one of the biggest things for me is that we experience this same karma over and over again, like a cycle, like a wheel, and we
Mm,
will keep experiencing it until we've learned a lesson,
mm.
or we've let go of something that isn't serving us, in order to move through that karmic cycle.
Absolutely. Just think of the movie Groundhog Day. You
Mm,
know, he kept repeating that till he changed what he was doing, because all the time he was doing the same thing,
yeah.
nothing was changing. I mean, I haven't seen it for donkey's years, so I can't even remember it all that well. It was back in the 90s, I think. But it was very illustrative of the fact it's like, no, 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 you're not getting it. You're not doing what you're meant to. Let's keep going till you get it right. And okay,
Mm,
that doesn't happen so much in one life. We do that over multiple lives. But I do see patterns. Funny enough, I spoke about it on a live yesterday in my Facebook group.
mm,
And lots of the people were going, oh my God, yeah, there's been this theme. It's happened so many times in this life. Like, for instance, picking narcissist partners or
yeah.
abusive partners or partners with addiction of some sort. Might just swap out the addiction, but it's
Yeah.
the same pattern. And they're like, oh my God, so why does that keep happening? And I'm like, well, what are you not learning? Do you
Mm,
need to learn to have strong boundaries and stop giving your partner your money, or to stop letting them treat you poorly? Or
mm,
is it that you give too much and you don't know when to stop and people take advantage of you? You know, what is it that you need to learn for this to stop? Maybe it's self-worth or self-value.
mm.
And so it can definitely happen multiple times in one life, but
Yeah.
it depends on the size of the theme. I think if we took on too much, we'd just go, no, I can't do it. So we tend to break it down. That's not to say that there aren't times when a soul bites off more than they can chew and they get here and go, oh my God, I can't do this. And then
Yeah.
they either just shut down and don't do it, or sadly, they might take their own life, or they might just go and do something that's detrimental, like escape into drugs, alcohol, gambling, whatever else. So that's something that comes into play a lot as well.
Definitely. I mean, there are so many things, aren't there? Like, we have the big cycles, like the narcissistic relationships, but we
Yeah,
also have small cycles that we keep going through as well. And I would say that a lot of this is around our own growth. It's around the things that are important to us, the things that we've signed up for us,
yeah,
and our growth and evolution. And we might see cycles of like feast and famine
yeah,
in our businesses, or we might see cycles of loneliness,
yeah,
right? So there are so many different ways that karma can play out. And it goes to show that karma is neutral, right? Because we've signed up for this and we're in control of that cycle. We can say, enough is enough. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to make XYZ changes
yeah.
to see if this cycle breaks.
Absolutely. And I think also we have to bear in mind that what we see as bad is
Mm,
all about perspective.
yeah.
And I can't remember if it was Esther Peveril. She's a German relationship coach, and she was in the concentration camps. And she
Mm,
was a dancer when she was a young girl. And she was made to dance for the guards. And she said, I didn't really want to do it. She said, but when I dance, I disappear out of my life. And so, excuse me, she said, when I would dance, I wasn't in a prison. So she said, the only prison we have is our mind.
mm,
And so if we look at our life and are constantly going, oh, my life sucks, this is awful, I'm a bad person, and what did I do to deserve this? That's the reality we're going to get. If we
yeah.
shift our mind, and there are lots of people, I can't name names, but I've listened to a lot of podcasts where they talked about having cancer and they're like, oh, yeah, best thing that ever happened to me.
Mm,
You know, and look at Dr. Joe Dispenza. He had a terrible cycling accident in his 20s, I think it was, and they said, you'll never walk again. And he was like, yeah, sod that. And so he went and laid on a bed for 3 months and let himself heal and just meditated and meditated and meditated. And now he teaches people to meditate to heal themselves.
Mm.
Now, he could have just gone in a wheelchair and been bitter and twisted and angry at the world, but he chose a different path, which is where your free will comes in. And
Yep.
he went, no, I'm here for bigger, better things than this. I've just started I think it was a chiropractor business. He said, I haven't got time to be ill and in a wheelchair. And look at him now. He's absolutely huge. And I think he's probably in his 50s or 60s by now. I'm not sure. So he chose to treat this as a positive thing
Mm.
rather than woe is me. And that's hard to do. I mean, I've been in the mire before and I've gone, oh
Yeah.
God, woe is me. And I've had to force myself out of it to
Mm.
find a positive way forwards. Because for me personally, I don't know about anyone else, when I'm in that negative mindset, I miss opportunities. I
Yeah.
don't feel motivated. I don't feel like I've got the energy to do what I need to do.
Mm.
And I just want to sit and feel sorry for myself if I let myself.
Yeah.
Whereas when there's things happening like that, and I go, right, what am I going to do to solve this? What am I here to learn from this? And I've
Mm.
got plenty in my life that I've learned from. So I haven't, skimmed through life in case anyone's thinking, yeah, it's all right for you, because it's not. Um,
Yeah.
and I have had to come out fighting. I have had to go, right, well, laying down and feeling sorry for myself is not an option. So what am I going to do?
Mm.
And then I get on and do it. But I will achieve more and see more opportunity if I'm in solution focused rather than being focused on the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm very good at worries me. I'm a Pisces. I can wallow. So for me, I give myself that day,
Yeah,
right? I think that's important. I give myself that day, and then it's right. Okay, so what am I going to do to change this?
yeah,
Right? What can I put into place that is not overwhelming because that would just add to the emotions, but just by putting one small thing into place, and then when that's a habit or has done its job, the next thing, right? So that we're not overwhelming ourselves.
mm,
But if we don't do anything, we're gonna stay in the same situation, right?
yeah,
Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome,
yeah,
right?
totally.
So we need to be able to change that one small thing at a time. It doesn't have to be dramatic.
No,
Obviously, the more effort that we put in, the faster we're going to get there. But without going into burnout, overwhelm, and all of those different emotions, we just want to take a step. So, by looking at solutions rather than what the actual problem is, we're going to be in a different mindset that's going to
mm,
make it easier to move forwards, right?
yeah.
And I think that's a really important point.
And we don't want toxic positivity where you've got your Pollyanna head on going, yeah, everything's fabulous, everything's wonderful, and you're just oblivious and not dealing with the rubbish. That doesn't work, and
Yeah,
it's not productive, and you're not learning from it.
yeah.
And so I know it's not going to change anything, but if you are struggling, just starting a gratitude diary, or I've got a
Mm,
lovely client and she took on board what I said, and she sits down with her kids for dinner, and every night they talk about what they're grateful for. So they do
yeah,
it as a family,
yeah,
okay? And that will shift your focus, because if you're constantly looking for the negative or the things that aren't right, and I've got people in my life that do that and it drives me nuts, that's going to make it worse.
yeah,
Whereas if you focus on the positives, like maybe you can't pay all your bills, but maybe you've still paid your rent or your mortgage,
yeah,
or maybe you're just grateful you weren't on Bondi Beach at the weekend.
yeah.
And that will realign your neural pathways,
Mm.
and it will eventually make you default to finding a positive.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no matter what's going on in our lives, there is always something to be positive for.
Yeah,
Whether it's the hot water, whether it's the sun shining, whether it's the train being on time, there is always something to be positive for.
yeah. And I'm a big believer in, if it has to be a negative, like, well, at least I don't live in the Ukraine in the middle of a war zone,
Yeah.
that's still a positive. That's something to be grateful for. You know,
Mm.
you may moan about your water bill, but at least you've got water on tap. You haven't got to walk 10 miles to get it and carry it back. and then
Yeah.
it's probably full of rubbish and it's going to make you ill. Okay. So
Yeah.
by training your brain to find the positive rather than the negative,
Yeah.
that's going to actually make your life more enjoyable, and it's going to
Mhm.
make you solution focused, and it's going to make you look for the good rather than pull yourself down by focusing on the negatives. And so it's not going to change the situation initially, but a gratitude diary will really shift your energy and your mindset, which will help
Yeah.
you. So it's a stepping stone towards what you need to get.
Absolutely. And the more that you focus on gratitude, the more the universe is going to give you things to be grateful for. That's the law of attraction,
Yeah,
right? So then you start to notice more. That raises your vibration.
yeah,
So, all of these things work really well. So just writing down 10 things every day to be grateful for, it's like a 5-minute practice
yeah,
that literally has the power to change your life. The
absolutely.
other thing I would suggest is if you're going through these cycles and these patterns, look at what lesson do I need to learn from this and journal on it.
Yeah.
Because there will be a lesson, something that you signed up for, not something that the universe is randomly throwing you. It's something you agreed to learn in this lifetime. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, totally agree on that. And what I would say is that it's very nuanced, this past life stuff, because it's not black and white,
mm,
and there's lots of components. So there's soul contracts, there's your soul family or soul group that you reincarnate with time and time again, but in all different roles. You don't constantly come back as the child of the person who's your parent.
mm,
Um, but then also there's the traits in our soul, and I don't know whether you know about this. I only discovered it a little while ago. It's like our soul has a theme,
hmm
like we've all got flaws that we need to work out.
yeah,
And that can show up in multiple lives until we sort that flaw out. Maybe you're too stubborn. Maybe you're not strong enough, or maybe you are weak willed and easily led, or whatever it is. And then if you add on top of that the fact that we've got like the, I don't know what the right word is. It's like our soul has a role that it plays that doesn't change, like the warrior, like the archetype,
right,
the warrior, the fixer, the healer, the nurturer, whatever it
mm,
might be. And so all of these other factors are there, and they make up the structure, if you like, or the framework that we're going to live the life through. And then, of
mm.
course, you've got the past life wounds that we've spoken about that we also can bring in. So, it is challenging here on Earth. You picked this life here because you knew it was going to be really challenging.
Yeah, for sure. It really is. But the more that you understand yourself,
Mm.
the more that you start to work with what we describe as karma coming up, the more that we want to learn and evolve, the easier it becomes further down the line. That's not to say there won't be upset, hurt, pain, and all of those things, because we have to experience that, but
Yeah.
it becomes easier. And for me, I feel we can see perhaps a little bit more light at the end of the tunnel on our spiritual growth journey.
Yeah, and that is the overall reason that we're here, because we are spiritual beings having a human existence, as Wayne Dyer used to say. And so many people forget that. We're not
Mm,
one or the other, we're both. Just because
yeah.
you're not aware of your spirituality doesn't mean that you're not a spiritual being. Um, and so that's the whole reason for being here, is to learn and grow spiritually, to
Yeah.
find compassion for other people.
Mm,
It's very easy to look at people and go, oh, well, you're a bit of a muppet, aren't you? You keep picking crappy partners. Well, you don't know what karma they've got. You don't know what lesson they're here to learn. Or maybe their lesson is about the other person, because it isn't always about us. Sometimes it's about the people that we've incarnated with, and we're
mm,
just here to be the mechanism for them to grow.
yeah.
And we're the neutral one. And so it's really so not black and white. But the bottom line is we are we are here to heal and to grow, and everything that happens to us is part of that.
Yeah, for sure. And yes, it can be a little bit of a tricky journey.
Tricky.
Like, maybe in the next show we can talk about the spiritual awakening and the things that we go through as we go through this journey.
That's a good idea, yeah, because a lot of
Yeah,
people don't really, because there's not one hard and fast way that works. So I think that would be a really good show.
yeah, definitely. So we won't go into that too much today, but we are here to grow and evolve. We are here to support others to
Mm,
grow and evolve. Like our relationships need to be 50-50, right? Ultimately, we're going to have to go through the codependent relationships, perhaps the narcissistic relationships, and on the other hand, the overgiving relationships to understand what we need as a soul, to understand the two polarities as well, and to not only help us grow and evolve, but to help them grow and evolve as
yeah,
well. And that's why it needs to be, our relationships need to be 50-50 so that we are helping each other grow and evolve. So if you're in like a codependent relationship or a narcissistic relationship or any of those kind of relationships, that's not 50-50, right? And that's probably part of your lesson
yeah,
that you're here to learn, right? Part of the karma that you're here to experience.
absolutely. And I think one of the things that we forget is it's not all about us.
Mm,
And if you imagine that you're climbing up a mountain and the person ahead of you is helping to pull you up and you're pulling up the one behind you, what we learn is about using that to help other people, whether
mm,
that's a health issue, whether that's an emotional issue, whether it's a situation. You know, this is why in the old village structure, the elders, like the women elders, they would be there to help the new mums learn
mm.
how to be a mum, and
Yeah.
the older men would help the hunters. But if there came a point that they weren't safe to go hunting because they were too slow or they'd got physical problems, they would do stuff in the village like carving. And
Mm.
they would show the youngsters that were too young to go hunting and everything else how to carve. And so everything we learn is about sharing it to help other people, because other people can benefit from our wisdom so they don't have to go through it.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think that we're all here to be teachers
Yes.
in different roles, right? Whether we're teaching our children, whether we're teaching friends, communities, whatever it may be, we all come here with experience. We all come here with knowledge from those past lives. And I feel that by sharing our knowledge and our wisdom and helping to teach others, we're fulfilling some karma, but we're also raising the vibration, raising the frequency
Yeah.
of others.
Yeah. And we haven't touched on soul groups reincarnating. So we have this soul family or this soul group that we tend to incarnate with every time. And when I say family, they're not necessarily your immediate nuclear family. They're like, if you think of the Christian faith, everybody in the Christian faith is your Christian family. So it's
Hmm.
more of on a bigger scale. So, for instance, back in the 90s, I think it was, there was a group of people in Somerset area, and as an experiment, they were all regressed, which is using hypnosis to access previous lives. And they didn't know each other, but
Hmm.
they all recounted this past life where they were part of the Cathar movement in the southwest of France, which were all slaughtered in the 1300s. And they recounted all the same details and the same lives. So they had come through to help humanity as a collective. And
Hmm.
that can be racial, it can be cultural, it can be sexual. So, like women getting equality, men having to stop being misogynistic, so it can be a group thing rather than an individual
Hmm.
thing. And sometimes we can be playing out an individual thing as part of that group.
Yeah.
And so that comes into play as well. So, for instance, let's say it's the ADHD thing because that's exploded. So maybe that whole community of people with ADHD are needing to work together for solutions or answers or something that's going to benefit their community, but also benefit humanity.
Mm.
Um, and so look at what you're part of. Look at who your tribe is. Is it spiritual? Is it financial? Is it health thing? Is it research in a lab to help humanity? Is it being an advocate in law courts to look out for the person that doesn't have a voice? You know, there's just so many ways that a group soul contract can play out, but it
Mm.
will cascade down to the people at the rock face.
Absolutely. And there's going to be some karma that plays out within that as well, isn't there? For whether that's collective or individual, that's going to come up as they're walking this path.
Absolutely. You know, just take the Nazis, because everyone will have heard of them. You know, there were people within the Nazi movement that, on the face of it, were towing the line, but in the background, they were helping people.
Mm.
And then there's the other people that were, you know, not in the Nazis, but they were doing the nasty stuff to the people that were trying to hide from the Nazis. So again, all the different bits played out. And, you know, obviously those souls that did the bad stuff, there will be atonement for that in some shape or form.
Mm. For sure. And lessons to learn and all
Yeah.
of those things in forward lifetimes
Yeah.
from that moment.
Mm. So I think, you know, when people are asking, have I been here before? Very, very likely, because although there are new souls,
Mm.
there's a lot more old souls. And I've heard people say that we can have like 3,000 lifetimes,
Mm.
which is like, oh my God, that's that's really scary.
Massive.
Um, so there's a lot of past life experience, there's a lot of past life wounds. But until you've ticked all the boxes, or I like to describe it as the trivial pursuits pie, where you've got to put all the pieces in and you
Yeah.
can check out and go, right, that's me done. I'm going to ascend now because I've done my karma, I've done all my soul contracts, I've got rid of all my wounds. I don't need to be here anymore. We're going to be having a lot more lives as well. I don't think I'm anywhere close yet.
Yeah, me either. But yeah, the more that we focus on evolution and spiritual growth in this lifetime, the more knowledge, wisdom, lessons, karma we're going to complete,
Mm.
the least amount of lifetimes here on earth we're going to have to experience.
Absolutely. And you know what I would say with that is going and being a monk and living in a monastery and praying and meditating every day isn't necessarily the quickest way to enlightenment. Ask Jay Shetty. You know, he was a monk and he decided that that wasn't going to work for him.
Yeah,
You will learn more in the real world.
yeah,
And yes, meditation helps with that, but just being in the real world with compassion and an open mind, and not even a positive mind, but an awareness, like being present and going, right, why is this happening to me? What is happening with this person? And how can I help them learn from it? You know,
yeah.
it's such a more in the moment present thing.
Yeah, I was going to say presence is probably the most important thing that we can do to have that awareness to be able to grow. If we're not present, then we're either in the past from which we're trying to move forward to from, or we're in the future, which isn't written yet.
No.
And that's going to make it difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, and what we do or don't do in the present creates that future. So
Yeah,
if you don't like the future that you're looking at, now is the time to do something about it and
yeah,
take yourself on a different path. And that is your free will again. Everybody has free will, although we've chosen people and situations and uh, experiences, environments, whatever the right words are, to help us achieve XYZ, we can take whatever path we like.
yeah,
And
100%.
and so, you know, it is about being present again, because when we're going 100 miles an hour like society does these days, there is no time to sit and think and reflect.
Mm.
It's just go, go, go. But if you're not careful, you can end up 5 years down the line and look back and go, oh my God, I really wish I hadn't done that. That totally hasn't served me. And for
Yeah.
the sake of half an hour with a notepad and a cup of coffee or something, where you sat and gone, right, what do I want for 2026?
Hmm.
How can I get the most out of it? Which we'll be doing in our meeting on the 18th, where
Yeah.
we'll be looking at the forecast for people and the potential and how they can make it a really cracking year. So come and join us. Um, we need to take that time to get a heads up. We can't just hope that it's going to sort itself out.
Yeah, absolutely. I also think it's important when we're going through these big changes where we're making that decision to change our lives, to
Mm.
evolve and grow, that there is a support team in place. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, you have your guides and your cosmic team,
Yeah.
but having a human team in place, I think, is important. So, having some kind of community to support you through that, to ask questions, to feel supported, I think is important as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got a free Facebook group, and for some reason, oh, I did a live. That was it. I did a live, and we were talking about pulling a card because what I'm finding with people is they're so busy
Mm.
that it's really hard to fit in everything they want to do.
Yeah,
And my life's crazy busy as well, so I totally get that. So I'm finding ways for my group where they can just do something little. And how long does it take to pull a card?
yeah.
Whether it's an
Few
oracle
minutes.
card, tarot card, whatever. And I say take a picture of it so that you'll remember by the end of the day what it is, because otherwise I know what I'm like. I'll get in and what card did I pull? Um, so pull the card, take a picture. If you've got time, write some notes about what pops up. How does it make you feel? What does it make you think of? Are you
Mm.
looking at that card going, oh my God, I don't get that at all? And then by the end of the day, you can reflect on it again and see how it has fitted in with your day. And the
Yeah.
guys in my group started doing that, and they've been pulling a card every day for the last 10 days now. And oh my God, the difference that they have found, it's helped their mindset, it's helped them get clarity, it's helped them get direction, it's helped them trust their intuition and to
Mm.
understand their place in the cosmos a bit more. And that's probably not even 5 minutes work a day. Now, if you haven't got 5 minutes in a day, then I think you need a serious life change. Even I can find 5 minutes. But
Yeah.
I'm really, really thrilled about how much of a difference that has made to their lives. But they're totally
Mm.
blown away by the difference it's made to them.
Yeah. And by finding that 5 minutes to pull a card for yourself, that is self-care, right? Which is also really important. Taking that time to do something for yourself, something that will nourish your soul.
Yeah, and we are here for our own purposes. We are not here
Mm.
just for everybody else. And you can serve humanity and be there for other people, but still put your needs first because you can't give from an empty well.
Yeah.
And we see it all the time with therapists and readers and healers that burn themselves out because they give too much.
Mm.
So you have to find that balance
Yeah.
before you're forced to find that balance.
Mm. Yes, because that will be destructive.
Absolutely. So, all of these different things that create the person that we are, the soul we are, and why we're here, you can't really ignore them because you'll pay a price if you ignore them. And so, stop thinking about, I must have been awful in a previous life because I've got a lot of rubbish in my life now. And
Mm.
look at that rubbish and go, what can I make from this?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we've got a friend who's got a top restaurant in Australia. His staff would throw out so much food. So he raided the bin one night. It hadn't been put in the outside bin. And he made a 6-course meal from the scraps that they were going to throw out.
Wow.
Now, that saved the restaurant a fortune, but it
Yeah.
highlighted to the staff that is not wastage, that can be used.
Yeah.
And this is why most pubs and restaurants have a vegetable soup on because all the leftover veg goes in the soup.
Yeah.
But my point is, what can you build from the rubbish in your life?
Mm.
If you're suffering from fibromyalgia, can you help other people? Can you find a way to heal it? Because there are ways to heal and clear fibromyalgia and any other health issue. So what can you make from what you've got in your life?
Mm.
One of my ladies, she's had so much loss, bless her. It's just been awful. She's become a soul doula. And she's now helping people who are losing loved ones or who are going through terminal diagnoses and things like that. You might also know them as a death doula. And she's making a really positive impact
Mm.
people because she's been through so much loss and all different ways of loss as well. So, she's really turned that negative situation into a massive positive.
Mm. There's always something positive in every situation. We just need to find it. We need to come out of that woe is me energy. My life is terrible. It's falling apart.
Yeah.
And look at, okay, so what can I create from this chaos? What do I need to learn from this chaos? And how can I move myself forwards?
Totally. And, that's a really good point because we said about having your tribe, and sometimes it's really hard to find that human support that you need.
Mm.
Susie and I have both got free Facebook groups where you can get that kind of thing. But obviously, if you want a more one to one thing, then you need to talk to us about the other things that we offer, like readings and coaching and development work. I'm not quite sure what you call yours with your deck, your program that you have.
Right, so my deck is very much a transformational journey. So I don't do development as in the normal development
Like
like
I
you
do.
do. Yeah. I take people through the deck of cards so that they understand on a soul level who they are, what they're here for, what the lessons are, what the karma is, and all of those things. So it is development, but it's development in a very, very different way.
It's personal development rather than what we would class as psychic and spiritual
Full
development.
development, yes, very much so. With, a nice community of
Mm.
people that have the deck.
Excellent. And if you want access to any of those, the links are all in the notes below. Please do like, share, and subscribe to this because we're doing this for you. We want to reach more people. The
Yeah.
feedback that we're getting is so incredible, and we want to continue to do more. So let us know your appreciation because otherwise, I could have a lie in instead.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
It would Tuesday mornings are slightly crazy because of the
Yeah.
time difference and getting this done. But I actually find it a really great way to start the day. It has me really fired up. And I know
Yeah.
that the conversations I've had with other people, they've told me it really fires them up too. So I love
Yeah.
doing it. And I love catching up with you every week as well.
I know it's fantastic. It's a great thing to do, but obviously, we'd like to know your questions. We'd like to know how we can serve you, both with the podcast and, with anything else that you need.
Absolutely. So, have a wonderful day, everybody. We will be back with you next week, and it's fast approaching Christmas. So, make sure you don't miss out, and we'll catch up with you soon.
See you again next episode. Ciao for now.
Bye.